Hello, welcome to the self-learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we are going to start Unit 1, Development of State Politics in India. And we start with state politics, the 1980s onward. And the main point is assertion of identities. The development since the 1980s further contributed to the changing pace of the state politics in India and states' role in the national politics. These developments were frequency of collision politics at the national and state levels, globalization, emergence of yet another generation of leadership, assertion of multiple identities based on ethnicity, that is, caste, tribe, language, the farmers' movements, insurgency in northeast Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab, and autonomy movement. Movements of different social groups have come to be known as new social movements. Though these developments were caused primarily as a result of the state policies, yet these were distinct features as compared to the earlier period. The assertion of the Dalits and backward classes in the north in the recent period has only contributed to the politics of similar assertion in the south, which took place much earlier. Politicization of the Dalit in North India in the form of the BSP, of the backward classes in the form of various incarnation of Janta Dal in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, and also the non-party front related to various cases as well as the religion further added new dimension to the state politics in India. The period also witnessed the rise of the rich farmers in the form of BKU, Bharatiya Kisan Union, in UP and Punjab, Shetkari Sangthan in Maharashtra, Katyut Samaj in Gujarat, and Karnataka Rajya Rathya Sangha in Karnataka. These groups also had their earlier incarnation in the 1970s when they were addressed as Kulkas in the north as well as south. But there was difference between the trends of the 1970s and those of the 1980s. While the formers, as the product of the Green Revolution and the land reforms, mainly sought the share in the political power and favorable terms of trade for agricultural products. The latter focused on the issues related to the market economy. The new social forces raised multiple demands in different states. These demands were reflected in the form of reservation, the creation of the new states, and greater allocation of resources from the center to the state. The next point is impact of globalization. The state politics took a new turn towards the end of the last decade of 20th century. Globalization has weakened the position of the center on the one hand and enabled the states to be autonomous players in the national as well as state politics. The foreign direct investment FDI did not have an even impact on all states. Some states have benefited from it while others lagged. In fact, liberalization has resulted in competition among states to seek investments. Some observers feel that it has created disparity among the states. Some states have become more advanced while others have become more backward. Lawrence Sage's book, Federalism Without a Center, shows that globalization has enabled the states in India to act as independent entities to pursue their agendas. They can now negotiate directly with the international donors and enter into agreement with different agencies. Of course, this has to be done with the consent and approval of the central government. It was not possible in the pre globalization phase. Globalization has also resulted in the erosion of intergovernmental institutions. Sage argues that the intergovernmental cooperation has given way to interjurisdictional competition. During the phase of globalization, even the party system has witnessed changes. In most of the states, two or more than two parties emerged as principal parties. West Bengal presented an exception where one party remained the dominant force. Even here, it has been able to wield power in collaboration with other like minded parties in the form of left front. State level parties are oriented towards specific reason, religion, or caste. These parties are able to exercise their influence through pre and post election alliances, fronts, and partners in the coalition governments. The most glaring examples in this regard are BSP with its base in Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and Madhya Pradesh, the Samajwadi Party, Rashtriya Lok Dal, Indian Rashtriya Lok Dal, Rashtriya Janata Dal, Nationalist Congress Party, Akali Dal in the North Indian states, Biju Janata Dal in Odisha in East, Telugu Desam Party, AIADMK and DMK in South, and Shiv Sena in Western India. In Northeast India, regional political parties abound. The role of the political parties in general focused on electoral mobilization, but emergence of new social forces like the Dalits and OBCs has also added to the known electoral mobilization in the state. The latter, however, gets linked to the electoral mobilization also. The proliferation of political and social forces does not allow a single force to dominate the state politics. At the same time, all of them want to share in political power. While there are broad ideological bases of the formation of coalitions or political fronts of both the ruling and opposition, the main causes of these formations are based on practical and political considerations. Now, the next topic is insurgencies and state politics. Besides the issues discussed so far in the unit, the insurgency and related issues occupy a central place in the politics of several states, especially in northeast India, Jammu, Kashmir, and Punjab. These are also related to the self determination movements. These developments not only impact politics of respective states but also have serious repercussions on national politics of the country. The problems of insurgency are related to the issues of development, inter-ethnic relations, and autonomy, while insurgency is directed against the nation state or its referents in several instances. It gives birth to the ethnic riots and conflict among the ethnic groups. Problems of insurgency in not new to India. As mentioned earlier, India faced such problems immediately after the achievement of independence, like Naga and Mizo insurgency in the northeast India, plebiscite front agitation in Jammu and Kashmir, demand for a separate sovereign state for Tamil speaking population in South India, etc. But it was from the 1980s that the insurgency has spread to more states. While the rise of the state leaders and parties till the 1970s challenged the dominant party system, insurgency movements questioned the homogenizing nation building approach of the center in the support of federation building approach. In some cases, insurgency has been a byproduct of autonomy movement or the movement against the outsiders. In the process, new groups demand autonomy or self-determination. Such examples abound in the northeast India. For example, supporters of the United Liberation Front of Assam movement, Bodos and Karbis movement were once part of all Assam Student Union agitation in Assam. Having felt neglected by the dominant groups within the ASU agitation, they resorted to their separate agitation demanding sovereignty or autonomy within the Indian Union. Now, at the end, summary of the unit. State politics in India has developed through phases. For around 2 decades following independence, especially since most of the states assumed their distinct identities in the wake of the reorganization of states in 1956. State politics largely followed the pattern of national politics. The Congress, then known as single dominant party, generally controlled the governments both at the center as well as in the states. However, the state politics, which assumed the distinct form by the end of the 1960s, was a precursor to the defeat of the Congress in 1967 general elections in several states and formation of non-Congress government in 1969. There emerged regional leaders and political parties with their strong social base. Reasons for these developments lay in the factionalism within the Congress in several states and popular mobilization of the people by the opposition parties in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Emergency gave an opportunity to the state level leaders with regional bases to come together on the same platform. By the 1980s, rise of the identities based on caste, region, religion, and ethnicity, and that of the new generation of leaders with their regional bases and parties, agendas of the states got a prime place in the politics of India. Coinciding with the impact of globalization and dilution in the role of the nation state, States in the India have come to occupy a center stage in Indian politics. The states, the regional political parties and leaders are playing decisive role in the national politics. They do so as a members of coalitions or within the political space outside political institutions. This was not possible before the 1990s. Therefore, we can say that state politics has entered a new phase where states are no longer the followers of the center but are decisive participants in the national politics. Now we want to wind up today's lecture. Thank you so much for your attention.